Hello, welcome to this bonus edition of Wildwood Teaching. I'm Nicole Dravillas-Fravel, and today I'm going to show you how to set up a calm preschool environment conducive not only to teaching academics, uh, but to helping children acquire those social emotional, self-regulation, executive functioning skills. And as an added side effect, this environment will also help you as a teacher feel more balanced and less stressed. Now, I was motivated to do this bonus edition because last weekend I presented at the Central Oregon Early Learning Conference. And I'm thinking that we teachers are really good at creating more work for ourselves and sometimes unnecessary work. So we teachers are really good at controlling our indoor environments for maximum classroom management. We might limit choices. We might institute timed center rotations. We might try to strategically group children to minimize distractions. And these types of strategies certainly work in the short term, but in the long term, we haven't taught children any self-regulation skills. So we teachers are constantly having to do the work and more work and stuck in a cycle of thinking of new and interesting ways to control children's behavior for them. In fact, I just recently listened to psychologist Peter Gray on the Hidden Minds podcast. And he was talking about how when parents and teachers seek to structure and control children's environment and their interactions, we're actually robbing children of the practice they need to become independent, self-reliant, problem solvers who can negotiate with their peers and in different situations. And so getting outside, right, taking children outside, using nature benefits your class. And it comes really from the things that we can't control. So we need to be willing to embrace those variables in nature by two ways, right? By setting up our outdoor classroom and routines to invite nature in and all of its variables, and to allow flexibility in our curriculum, in our lesson planning, to be able to react to those variables. And so this does not mean that, take your children outside and everything's going to be rosy and perfect. Just that having to respond to nature's variables in terms of inclement weather. I don't know if you can hear the gentle rain behind me. If your path is blocked by a fallen tree, if maybe a wildflower you enjoyed yesterday isn't there today, can help children develop those executive functioning skills when they are forced to make decisions to problem solve. But we still need to teach self-regulation skills, ways that children can approach those new situations and deal with frustration and be able to calm themselves and get themselves to a point where they can solve the problem. So I'm going to recommend the following steps. I think there are three. And so step one is you need to help children recognize when they need one of these self-regulation strategies. So don't skip this step. Many people skip this step, and this is a mistake. No one can self-regulate if you don't recognize the need to self-regulate. So this is helping children understand the sensations that happen within their bodies. So similarly to how we would notice when our body is thirsty, when it is hungry, when it is cold, recognizing how does your body feel at the beginning of frustration, at the beginning of sadness, at the beginning of anger. And so I generally introduce the idea of listening to our bodies with the book When Sophie Gets Angry, Really, Really Angry by Molly Bang. Um, and I really do like this story because the adult in the story steps in at an inopportune time and does not take the time to really understand the situation. So Sophie is justifiably angry. Um, and her emotions are real, and we're teaching children these emotions are real, and it's okay to have so-called negative emotions. But really, what we want to learn to do is how to deal with them in a socially appropriate way that helps you get past the emotions and into the problem-solving brain. Um, and so once we get to that part where Sophie feels like her body is like a volcano that's exploding, we're going to help children say, what happens to your body? How do you feel? And just go through those, write them down if you need to. Um, and then step two, once you've spent time recognizing when your body's giving those signals that it needs something else, is to give children the tools to give their body what it needs to help them self regulate. Because once children have these tools, you as a teacher can step back and stop working so hard, stop putting out fires. And really focus on, you know, on teaching the academic portions. And in the book, Sophie calms herself down by finding a tree to climb, and she feels the breeze and she watches the water and she listens to the wind. And so again, we use that as a jumping off point for brainstorming the ways that we can use nature to help us calm ourselves down. And then I just take a few photographs of the children using those calming strategies. This is very similar to Sophie's calming strategy. The child says, I can find a way to be alone under a tree and have some alone time to breathe until I calm myself down. And then I just wrote on the back of the photograph, it says, find a spot to be alone. And that's mostly for the adults. The children can't read it, but in case you can't remember what you took a picture of, and then, we add to these ideas throughout the school year. And they can be other ways that you interact with nature, or they can be additional strategies. And then we put them in a calm down pot. And our calm down pot has, a bunch of the pictures of our calm down strategies. It also has your traditional, sensory calming, bottles, squeeze balls, lavender pouches, if smell is how you calm yourself. And then we can't just leave it at that. So step 3 is to continue to practice these ideas. Okay, because children need to practice them when they are calm, when it's not needed. So again, you as a teacher are not stuck always calming the children. We have practiced them, and we have practiced them on a daily basis so that when we need it, it's just a reminder to the children, oh, do you need the calm down pot? Do you know a calm down strategy you want to use right now? Do you want to go grab the calm down pot, bring it to you? Do you want to go to the calm down pot? And sometimes we practice it usually when there is a transition time. So, if we are transitioning from, all getting up and washing our hands or doing something active to coming down for a story, then I might say, okay, this week we're going to practice. This is looking at clouds. right? Using the sky, right? Just lying back, looking at the clouds, seeing shapes in clouds. And we're going to practice that strategy all week. Sometimes I do it where I model getting frustrated. Sometimes I'm really frustrated, right? No one's listening to me, or I'm not able to, I'm trying to draw something in front of the children and it's not, I can't draw. And so I might take a moment and say, oh, I can feel my body getting really tight right now, and so I think it's time for me, sorry, excuse me, you can do this with me if you want to. I'm just gonna lie back for a moment and stare at the clouds, and I'll get back to you in a second. Just hang on. um, and so you want to have them know this before the meltdown happens. Um, so this is how you set it up ahead of time. If you follow these steps of helping children recognize when their body needs something different, giving them tools to practice. How can you give your body the more air, the time, the calmness it needs? And then you spend some time every day when it's not needed, practicing those strategies so that children can just have a gentle reminder when it's needed. You have a place like a calm down pot, or calm down cushions, an area where children can go to. Then you can help children start to develop these self-regulation skills on their own. Large part of this for me is being out in nature. In fact, a recent Washington Times article reported that natural settings are generally calm and quiet. They do lead to lower levels of stress, and they help foster traits like resilience, leadership, problem solving, perseverance, those social emotional skills that we know are a big part of preschool. So tell me, if you aren't outside yet, why not? What's holding you back? Are you thinking that you don't have access to enough nature? That your space isn't big enough, it isn't naturey enough? If you are outside, maybe some of the time, all of the time, are there more things you wish you were doing? Are there more ways that you wish your children could be interacting positively with nature to gain these benefits? I'm going to invite you to our upcoming workshop on May 18th, which is called Define Your Nature. And this is for everybody who thinks they don't have enough nature, or everybody who really wants to make better use of maybe some unused part that you really don't know what to do with that plain open field that doesn't have any trees. And we're going to take some time to really figure out how you can use your space to the children's and yours as a teacher's benefit. Stop working so hard. Um, and we're going to have a lot of fun. It's a Saturday. We're going to play some bingo for prizes. The first 5 people who register for the workshop and who show up in person will be able to bring photographs of their outdoor space, and I and the other people in the workshop will help you brainstorm some ideas for how you can best make use of the nature that you have. If you can't make it live, it will be recorded, but like I said, the live really gives you the benefit of having those conversations with people, and having your questions answered. So I hope you can join us on May 18th for the Define Your Nature workshop. There should be a little sign up link right up here above my head somewhere. There will also be a link below the video. And then join us here on Tuesday when I release our regularly scheduled normal edition of Wildwood Teaching. And we'll see you there.